The heat is on the Bengals. Mike Petraglia inside GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium. Today, the Bengals look to even their season record at 1-1 on the year after last week's very disappointing 16-10 loss to the New England Patriots at Paycor Stadium. You couldn't ask for a better challenge than the Week 2 matchup with the two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. And one of the big factors coming into today's game, the weather. It's going to be sunny and it's going to be hot for the 3:25 local time kickoff, 4:25 p.m. Eastern time start to this game. We're talking about temperatures between 87 and 89 degrees. Certainly it figures to be a lot hotter on the field. It's not like the old days here at Old Arrowhead with the artificial turf. It would have been even hotter. So certainly weather like this in September, not unusual, not uncommon to see in Kansas City, but the Bengals are going to have to deal with it. Of course, it's in stark contrast to the last three visits here to Arrowhead Stadium for the Bengals, two of them in AFC Championship environments in 2021 and 2022, and of course last year on New Year's Eve, Bengals coming up short by a score of 25-17. All of those games played in pretty bitter, cold conditions. That will not be the case today. How will the conditioning of the Bengals hold up during the afternoon? That's certainly something to keep an eye on. It figures that T. Higgins will not be available again for the Bengals in this game for a second straight week. So Joe Burrow and company have to figure out a way to move the ball down the field vertically. That is really what the Bengals want to do and what they really failed to do last week against New England. Of course, with the Bengals offense trying to get in gear, the running backs and tight ends figure to be a big part of the equation. Last week, of course, they would have had a tight end touchdown, but it was Tanner Hudson fumbling at the 2-yard line, and that was really a key point of the game. All week long, the Bengals have emphasized the significance, the importance of getting that first down, especially on the opening drive, if at all possible. That's something they weren't able to do last week as they went 3 and out the first 3 times they had the ball. Zach Taylor, after the game and on numerous occasions this week, pointed to that in terms of the inability of the Bengals offense to get going and starting to dictate the terms of the game. Certainly the Bengals don't want to run into that this afternoon with Patrick Mahomes and company. All week long, a lot of people have wondered, how will Lou Anarumo diagnose and defend the extraordinary speed that the Kansas City weapons bring to the Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid-led offensive attack? We're talking about Xavier Worthy, of course. We're talking about Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco. Names like that, the Bengals are going to have an idea of how to keep them from making long plays down the field, keep everything in front of them. That figures to be one of the keys to keep an eye on early in this game. How will Lou Anarumo defend the Kansas City weaponry? In years past, it's drop 8, take your chances, give different looks to Mahomes. Will Anarumo decide, with Von Bell back on the defense in the secondary, decide to do that once again and try to confuse Mahomes a little bit? That has worked in the past. Will it work today? We'll have to wait and see. Of course, the Bengals have to do a better job tackling this week. Lou Anarumo pointing to a record high 14 missed tackles during the game last week against the Patriots. That is the most that the Bengals have recorded in Lou Anarumo's 6 years as defensive coordinator of the Bengals. So the technique, the discipline, the execution has to be much better, obviously, on this day against Kansas City. Again, the weather will be a factor here today. How do the Bengals handle the heat on the field? We're talking about temperatures in the upper 80s for the majority of the game. So obviously the Bengals will want to get off to a fast start and really dictate the terms of this game. We'll have you covered all afternoon long on the X at Trags, Trags, CLNS, Cincy with a Y.com. And be sure to check out my YouTube page, the Jungle Roar YouTube page. That's youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod. The warm-ups have begun, as you can tell behind me. Should be a fun afternoon of football inside GEHA Field at Arrowhead. Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.